Hello, geeks, freaks, and all those unique. This is MC Frodus, and we're blasting into the future with this week's review of Star Trek Discovery. It's episode 10 of season 3, Terra Firm Part 2. And wow, I have some feelings about this episode. I really liked last week's episode. I liked the look into the mirror universe, but I did have the caveat on it that I would like to see what happens in next week's episode, because there's a thing with Star Trek two-parters where the second part isn't as good as the first part. And I'm not saying that this part isn't good, but I have some real reservations about it. I have actually some reservations about this part and about the previous part in hindsight. So we're 10 episodes in to season 3. There's not many episodes left of this season. And now we've gotten rid of Georgiou. And looking back at what she's had to do in season 3, frankly, I'm wondering why we brought Georgiou to the future in the first place. I don't feel like she really contributed anything. Not anything of value. Obviously, if you go back and watch my previous reviews, I've spoken very well of Michelle Yeoh. I'm in love with Michelle Yeoh, and I think her portrayal of Georgiou is fantastic. And certainly, I like that we've been able to see her in other episodes. But if you look back at it, she didn't really contribute anything. She was just kind of there. Like, she created some trouble for Saru, and she was somebody that Michael could talk to. But let's face it, Michael couldn't really talk to anybody, so Georgiou was just kind of there. And then, of course, this whole thing came up with her not being able to live in this timeline, or this time period. And so it just kind of feels like a Shaggy Dog story, where you bring Georgiou to the future and, okay, we've got to send her away. Nothing really, she didn't affect any change here. Okay, I know that she's got her own show happening, but part of the problem is because they've become so insistent on let's strand Discovery in the future. And they'll never see Georgiou again. They'll never see Spock again. They'll never see Sarek again. All of these characters that Discovery has set up over the past 3 seasons, it's hard to care about any of them because we're never going to see any of them again. So all of these relationships that Michael has built over the past 2.5 years are all of a sudden, it's like, okay, they're all gone. And if you actually look back at the past 2.5 seasons, yeah, everybody that Michael had a very strong relationship with, other than Tilly and Saru, are gone. And of course, now we have this relationship that's being built up with Book, and it feels like, I mean, maybe that's one of the reasons why I'm so touchy about Book, because there were so many important relationships with Michael that were just snatched away from us for various reasons, and now we have to emotionally invest in this new one, and it just feels, I don't really want to invest in any relationship that Michael has, because I'm sure it's just going to go away, and these characters are never going to be able to see each other again, and it's really hard to care. And that's not to say that I didn't like this. I did like this maybe I feel in a way like Maybe I would have liked this episode more if it was one part. By making it two parts, first of all, you're putting way too much pressure on it because two-part episodes are events. And especially in a show where you only have like 13 episodes, that is a huge chunk of your show you're dedicating to the storyline. And it's certainly interesting, but I don't know if it's interesting enough to sustain two episodes. I might have cut out some of the Starfleet stuff that was going on. I know that they were trying to keep the thread of things that were happening on Discovery. But let's face it, the bulk of these episodes were in the Terran universe. So just cut out like the side bits, just get right into the action. And there are pieces where you could make little tiny cuts, and you could have gotten it down to a very dense 45 minutes. And let's face it, like, while in Canada, Discovery does air on television, Discovery is a streaming show. So if you need to go over the 45 minutes, just do it. This is the thing about streaming shows. Episodes last as long as they need to. So if you need to do a 55-minute episode that's really dense, I would much rather you do that than do two 45-minute episodes, because yeah, you're putting a lot of pressure on this two-parter, and I don't know if it really held up. The one thing that I did absolutely love about this is all week people have been wondering who Carl is. And there have been many, many hypotheses, and many people will be very happy that they got it. And the reveal that Carl was the Guardian of Forever was just chef's kiss. So perfect. It was so well done. But I don't know what that means. Like, so the Guardian of Forever is around, and Discovery is the only people who know that the Guardian of Forever, and we don't even know if Discovery knows. We know that Michael knows, and presumably Saru knows, but so that's it. Like, two people know that the Guardian of Forever is there, and they're probably not going to be telling anybody, because that would defeat the purpose. And certainly Saru did say that, oh, Giorgio is dead. So the record is going to state that Giorgio is dead. So I don't think they're going to be getting into all of the information. So they have this gateway, which honestly, you know what, now that I think about it, the walking through the door really should have seen the Guardian of Forever coming. But can Discovery go home eventually? I never had any problem with Discovery being in the TOS era. I know a lot of people did, because they were like, oh, so Spock never said anything about having a sister, but Spock never said anything about a lot of things. And they're not going to have them go home, but also I feel like they should. And the Guardian Forever did say that Michael Burnham is exactly where she's supposed to be, but I don't know. I liked the reveal was perfect, but the implications afterwards does bring up many questions. And yeah, no, I enjoyed this episode. And certainly, I like getting to know Giorgio better. And really, they are setting up that Giorgio has changed from being the empress of the Terran Empire so that she can become a anti-hero for the Section 31 show, which is, I'm guessing, what they were going to do with her. She's not going to be heroic because, well, it's Section 31, so she can't be heroic. But anti-hero, totally. And that kind of fits who Giorgio is, because her personality is never going to completely change. We do have to wonder, what time period is she being sent to? Because the Guardian did say that Giorgio was being sent to a time when the Mirror Universe and the Prime Universe were close enough that they could interact with each other and that she would be okay. But does that mean the TOS original Discovery era? I actually think not. Because the whole reason we moved Giorgio was so that the Discovery characters wouldn't interact with the TOS canon as we know it already. I mean, of course, they're doing Strange New Worlds, so all of this is kind of garbage anyways. Like, it means nothing. So, I mean, maybe she is going to the TOS era. But and maybe this is wishful thinking for me, but having a Section 31 show during the Picard era, and maybe having Michelle Yeoh work with Bashir. Frankly, if we don't know where Michelle Yeoh is, like, let's send Michelle Yeoh to the Picard era so that we can have her do some spy versus spy with Bashir. This is what I want for my Section 31 show, because I think that we've already got Strange New World, which is going to be doing the TOS era. And the Section 31 stuff really does fit well into, like, the Picard era of stuff. So, I don't know. This is just me spitballing. I feel like I already said a lot of what I feel about the Mirror Universe stuff last week, because it was kind of just more of the same, which is one of the reasons why I think it should have been one part, because I did not get anything from the second part that I didn't get from the first part. So, if you're not going to give me more, then a second part isn't really worth it. So, yeah. I think they should have cut it down, and I feel a bit jerked around with Michael's relationships. I'll, try to figure out a way to deal with that. But, yeah, who knows what's going to happen with the Guardian of Forever, if they'll ever revisit that, or if it was just a nice little mention for huge dorks. But tell me down below what you thought of Terra Firm Part 2. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. I do lots of videos about Star Trek, Star Wars, Supernatural, Doctor Who, lots of geekery. If you would like to support me, you can go to my Patreon, where you can get early access to videos and access to polls. You can also buy me a coffee, or you can go to my TeePublic and Redbubble and buy some of my geeky designs. So until next time, live long and may the Force be with you.